Okay, I'll call this meeting to order at 7 o'clock. First off, the agenda, there is one addition. A CARES support letter for the Alberta Southwest, CARES grant application for Alberta Southwest. If somebody would move to put that on the agenda, then we'll vote on it and see if we're allowed. Councillor Schultz? All in favor of adding that to the agenda? Carried unanimously. Okay, if I can get a motion to adopt the amended agenda. Councillor Carlson. We're discussing the politics here.
So which councillor, sorry?
Carlson?
Okay.
Got her?
Yep.
All in favor? Carried. Regular meeting November 12th, 2019. Any errors, omissions?
None I could see.
No? Can you get a motion?
I'll make a motion to adopt the regular meeting minutes from November 12th as presented.
All in favor? Carried. Okay, we'll move right into delegations. First one is Friends of the Claresholm District Museum. Who we got? Oh,
There's three of us. I'm Barry Gibbs, I'm the chair of the museum board, and Enola Lang is the president of the Friends of the Museum, and Bill Kells is the executive director of the museum. And so we want to just bring you up to date on some happenings with the museum. So starting in the beginning of this year, 2019, we started meetings, regular meetings, between the three groups. So representatives of the board, of the Friends, and with Bill, to sort of coordinate things around the museum and plan events better. And so we feel like it's been going really well. We've noticed a real improvement in how things are running. So we wanted to come and tell you about one particular thing. We started planning ahead to next year. We have our theme next year is the Warriors. And so we noticed that one of the people we've been researching is Ben Skaman. He's a Claresholm, he was born and raised here. He's in Calgary now, he's 99 years old. And so we wanted to get some video of him, just in case things went wrong. And so we asked for an out-of-budget expense, which you guys approved. And so we want to tell you what we've done with that. So Bill, can you tell us what happened?
Sure. Barry just outlined a little bit about the video. We, as many of you know, I guess it was 2017 before I came on board. There was a project for Virtual Museum of Canada to do a project, Virtual Museum project, on the British Air Commonwealth training base. And part of that project was to do videos, and there were 3 videos that were done. There was an overview video, then there was a video of Jim Ashworth, and then there was a video of Jim Millen. Both of those pilots were not from Claresholm. They were, like many young pilots, came to this training base to learn how to fly. So that project went through, the videos were made, but they never were shown to the board. So when I came on board, at about the second meeting, those videos arrived and I had an opportunity to show them. And as soon as I showed them those videos, it was instantly, we need to do this for Ben. We need to have a video done. So they charged me with going back to Shadowlight, the company that produced the video, to find out how much it would cost. They said it would be $2,000. Brought it back to the next board meeting in May, and the board says, do it, we'll find the money somewhere. So it was so important to do. From that, we contacted Shadowlight again, gave them the project to undertake, and as Barry said, 99 years old, there was an urgency to get it done fast. In the following 3 weeks, working with Shadowlight, we put together a list of questions, back and forth, what questions would be best to ask, and within 3 weeks of signing the contract, they have 55 minutes of video done with Ben. Now, it's hard to imagine that you can put all of that into one video and put it into a museum and keep people engaged. So even on the virtual museum sites, they only make them about 4 or 5 minutes, even if that. So they did the first video, they did a video of Ben, I let it out of the bag already. They did a video of Ben. He was a hero for many reasons during the Second World War as a Spitfire pilot. One of the things that he was a hero for was tipping the V2 German bombs and tumbling them to the ground. They were headed for England. They were, I think, a 1-ton bomb, and they were devastating. So he would fly alongside them and tip them, and perfected that method of doing it, and spun them down to the ground. So he was a hero for that. So that's the video that we have done, and a little introduction from Ben. So that's the video. Since that, we have talked about it at the board level, and there's 55 minutes captured. And like I say, it was so important to do because time was of the essence. So now we have that 55 minutes. Just in very recent discussions, it has been decided that we're going to go ahead and get the second video done, and that is of them capturing the German plane and escorting it into Scotland. And from that plane, they got all kinds of technology that helped turn the war around. So that's the second video. So we're engaging to do that. And we've also put an exhibit in the museum for Ben, big display case, all of the stuff that he's donated. And we're opening that exhibit and having a video, the one that we have, play beside it. And we're hoping to open that in January. We're going to open it in January. We just don't know the date because that's the month of Ben's 100th birthday. So that kind of brings you up to speed on where we are with that project.
Okay, so part of that, we committed that we would do fundraising. So we started a fundraising campaign. There was an article in the local press that really helped with that. Yeah, thanks, Rob. And we, so we raised $2,150. And I just wanted to read out the people who donated from around the community. Larry Clayton, the Lions Club, Tony Burton, Morgan Farms, Betty Hoare, Leclerc's Home Legion, PharmaSave, Legacy Dodge, and the Stavely Royal Purple. And so we thank you for our support, for supporting us. And so with that, we wanted, with the last bill that the Chatelites sent in, we wanted to present you with a check for the remainder of the money. And we know that you usually don't make decisions when there's a delegation. We wondered if you might want to make an exception and accept this check from us.
Yeah, we can probably do that.
But you might want to. So, thank you very much for your support, and we'll let you all know what's happening with the opening of Ben's Game exhibit.
Wonderful.
Perfect.
Thank you for your work.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for all your efforts.
Try and get us.
I get to present the check, I don't have to talk.
You wanna do that?
Just the two of you?
Well, it's the Friends of the Museum, but I think we should probably have one with the two of you and then one with all four of you, maybe.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Would be nice.
That's so lovely.
Go ahead, do you wanna take some?
We just don't need. All right, here we go.
Okay, and then you have the gentleman over there, just stand with them, and then just make sure we'll all be together. That's nice.
Yep.
Everybody
A
hold
little
on
bit
to the check.
closer, Bill. Snuggle in there.
Hug Larry.
Hold your.
Perfect, okay.
You want to be this close to me? Yeah. That's what it's there. So I flash.
There you be. Well, thank you very much.
I'm moving.
Wow. I'll move.
So much gorgeous. Thank you. That's fun.
You're off to Friends. Good luck. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.
Okay, we have delegation 2 for a check presentation. Oh, that's not what's
It's a lucky
happening.
day.
I tried. Okay, who is the spokesman for Wendy?
Yeah, I am. And I'm not as good a speaker as he is, so I'm gonna read mine. You stand here?
You can sit.
Or you can
if
have
you
a
want.
seat.
Oh, can I? Oh, wow. I even get to be the head of the table.
Yes,
Or is
right.
this the foot of the table?
It's definitely that.
Well, good evening, Mayor McPherson and Town Council members. Thank you so much for allowing me to take a few minutes of your time tonight. My name is Wendy Norby, and I'm the president of the Claresholm Food Bank. Most of the other food bank members are also here tonight. As you're aware, we were originally seeking your approval to support us in the construction of a new building, which was to be located at the new site of the Town Administration Building. However, it has since come to our attention that the building located at the town shop, which was previously occupied by the town's curbside recycling program, is now empty. We are here tonight to request your support to lease this building since it's no longer required for its current use. The food bank has been located in the basement of the Town Administration Building for almost 30 years and operates solely on the hard work and dedication of volunteers. Since its founding, the Claresholm Food Bank has been committed to helping those in need to overcome challenges they're facing with the supplementation of food and helping to reduce the gap of the financial stresses. We are seeing larger poverty issues in Claresholm over the past few years, which has meant an increase of hampers being distributed on a monthly basis. Should you approve our request to move into this building, we would be more than happy to meet with you and discuss the arrangements of the lease. Since we rely solely on donations, we'll also be asking for your support with respect to a CFEP grant. However, at this time, we're unsure as what we'll need to the amount until we get quotes from contractors for any upgrades that will be required. Thank you.
Thank you.
No, I think it's great.
I-
I think
it's-
it's a perfect opportunity. The building's there, and I think for minor renovations, you'll just have to basically clean it up and put in some refrigeration units.
Yeah, well, and we already have like a few fridges. We've got existing deep freezes.
And the
As-
space is big enough.
It's perfect. It's exactly what we need. We've gone over and we've looked at it. The square footage in comparison to what we were gonna build is, when we start thinking about 1,000 square feet, it's really not all that big. But this is 1,400 square feet. It's already got the bathroom. Yeah, we'll have to do some upgrades to it. But it's perfect. So hopefully we can come to some arrangement and
Well, there's also a loading dock there, and
exactly
if
the
you were to-
doors. Yeah.
if you were to look at a small forklift, or even the one that's there, purchasing that, you'd have opportunity.
Yeah, yeah, we do have a forklift.
Oh, you do?
We do have a forklift, but I'm not sure what working order it's in.
It's okay, it's good.
It is still working.
Locations, all right?
Location should be okay. Most of the clientele that come to the food bank drive. They do have their own vehicle, so I don't think that matters. And it's come up too that maybe we could partner with, you know, some other organization if there's a need for rides
Yeah.
or whatever. But as far as location, I really don't think it's an issue.
They'll find a way to get there.
Yeah, yeah, they will.
Sure of that.
And Claresholm's not that big. then.
That's right, exactly. Yeah, and nobody walks anyway, because the size of hampers that we do give,
Right.
like,
Be
they're not
fantastic
walking
for
home with
stuff. Yeah.
boxes
No.
of food.
Right, that's right.
The other thing
Yeah.
is it's handicapped accessible. We do have a problem here with going downstairs.
Right.
And there are a couple.
Yeah,
of-
Yeah.
this is zero
There's
entry,
one
so.
client in a wheelchair.
Yeah, 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 it's perfect. I mean, we're not sure what renovations that we will do to it. I mean, maybe we could, you know, we'll have to get some contractors and, you know, maybe they can give us some ideas as to what, you know, like maybe put a wall in between, like from where
Have you
the
guys
man
researched
door
any
is.
other food banks and their operations?
No, I'm planning to, I've been speaking to the people at Bulk, and I know the food bank people over there. And I'm planning that we should do a tour over there and just see
It's a good
how
idea.
they,
Yeah.
because
Lethbridge
that's
is
a
pretty
town of a
tight.
similar
Yeah, I've been
size
to the
here.
Lethbridge one.
Similar sized town, almost twin towns in a lot of ways.
Yeah. Yeah, and the Lethbridge, like I've been to the Lethbridge one, but they're on a completely different level than what we are, right?
Right.
So, yeah,
But in terms of organization and efficiency, because it's gonna be
Yeah.
like an oyster for you, I think
Yeah.
probably pretty fantastic being able to organize it in a much more
yeah,
cohesive
The
manner.
Yeah.
numbers are increasing drastically. We've noticed this last year.
Yeah,
Tremendous increase in what I call blue collar workers, tradespeople, oil field people,
How unfortunate, yeah.
particular.
yeah. Well, they've been laid off and EI is running out
The eyes run
and,
out, welfare's all that's left.
yeah,
Yes, exactly.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Yeah, we're open for 3 hours a week, but they're handing out on average close to 25 hampers a week now. That's 1,200 hampers over a year. Yeah, the demand is greater and,
Wow,
yeah.
Well, that's great. And
that's good.
when do you anticipate getting together with a contractor and having a look at it? And
Well, that, as long as we have your say-so that we actually would like to set up a meeting with you guys too, so we can actually discuss and, what lease payments might be and what, just kind of finalize a few things if it is a go. And
Okay.
just to make sure it is affordable for us as well.
Like mentioned by the previous, we can't make a decision tonight. It's-
No, of
it's
course.
By our bylaws.
Yeah.
But I would like to set something up, have administration set something up with a meeting with you guys, and some of the counselors and myself,
Okay,
and take a look at what you're gonna do. And that'll give you time in the interim to talk to the health. It says you need to talk to health authority.
we do,
find out what you
anything
gotta
that we do has to be approved by Richard Steves. He's with the Alberta Health Services, so any,
So
to adhere to
if you
codes.
can get your information together and
Yeah,
talk to administration, and we'll set up a meeting between the two, and then we'll bring it back to council after that
Okay.
meeting and with some recommendations.
sounds good.
I hate, I interrupt you, but I believe Rick Steves, what's his name?
Richard
He's been over
Steves.
there and more or less has given us tentative approval, I believe.
Well, you still need something in writing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and drawings, he's asked for drawings, when we know what we
Yeah.
wanna do.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, let's,
Okay, that's great.
Okay,
we can't give you approval tonight, but.
No,
if
I
you-
understand
if
that.
you head down the road of putting something together, and administration will be in contact with you and get a meeting set up, and Marion will let me know when that is, and I'll gladly attend, and we'll hammer out the details and bring it back to council.
sounds good.
Well, that's
Thank
Thank
you
you.
very much.
Thank
Thank you.
That's what you do, appreciate it.
You guys gonna stick around for?
My key.
Just for entertainment, just for kids.
Okay. Okay, I'll start with Rick. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for coming.
Yeah, thank you. I'll be in touch then. Okay, thanks, Marion.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thanks, Brad. Thanks, Lise. Sorry I missed you. Sorry, really. Thank you so much.
Hi, did you come to school? Thank you.
Lisa's always arguing. I'm not sure.
My Joel.
No, none of this.
You guys are awesome.
Okay, moving on to item number 1, bylaw 1678 cemetery bylaw amendment, first reading. Marion.
Okay, so at the September 23rd council meeting, we presented a bylaw. We had purchased a new, columbarium. I wanted to say crematorium.
Crematorium.
No, columbarium, and it had, the design was for the bronze plaques. And so that was sent back to administration to look at alternatives, to be able to give the citizens an option for the engraving. And so we looked at that. There's a number of things for consideration here. With the columbarium that we purchased, there's some pre-drilled holes in that for the bronze plaques. There would be a cost that Nelson would charge us if we don't use the bronze plaque. There's also some concerns with, those plugs in there and how that engraving will work. And that, and so we also talked with the new owner of the funeral home here, and they're actually interested in purchasing a columbarium and putting it at the cemetery, which would be allow for engraving in that columbarium. So what we've proposed is that's possibly we have the two options then. So one would be the one that we have with the bronze plaque. The other would be for the engraving, but would be owned and sold by the funeral home.
Willow Creek.
The difference in pricing would be about $300. So individuals who may want to save a little bit of money may want to go with the bronze plaque rather than the engraving. So that's what we've got in
That's
front of you
great.
tonight. The bylaw is still just addressing the bronze plaques, simply because that's all that we would be dealing with.
Right.
And the other columbarium would be through the funeral home.
If it happens, yeah.
If that's what
If it does
council
happen.
chooses to do.
I did go and talk, when I was in Edmonton, I did go talk to one of the companies, and I don't know if it's the same one that was there that makes and has the bronze plaques on there. And I asked them about engraving, and there's no reason you can't engrave those doors the way they are.
Well, you could, but there could be companies that, you know, because there is plugs, right, it can create,
Yeah,
it's
but
not
they-
as.
But they
it's
said the plugs could be cemented in and
not-
engraving done over top. So even though, you know, the Willow Creek might buy one, there's no guarantee they will. I'd like to still have that option on this list.
But it seems to me that when I read this, that it was gonna cost the town $1,000.
No, it doesn't cost town anything.
Well, if we don't use the bronze plaque program, it will cost us an additional $1,000.
But if you have the program as an option,
Yeah, we'd still have to pay Nelson the additional cost, right? If we didn't go with the bronze, if we don't purchase the bronze plaques through them. There was a savings to us by going with the bronze plaque.
the bronze.
Being engraved through them, we saved $1,000.
I still saw it as an option to the, I personally wouldn't hesitate to spend the money because it's, I mean, these things are very thrifty looking.
Well, and for
And
some
that's
people,
not a time
that's,
to be thrifty to me, so I would much rather have the option and I would gladly have paid it.
I guess there's two things. I don't think you want the columbarium that has partial bronze plaques and partial engraving. Like, are you talking just having only engraving?
No,
So you,
like
there would be a
when I talked to
mixture
the
on
company that
columbarium?
manufactures them, they said it would be
but it's
easy
not the
to
same
have an
company that
option of
has this protocol that it was bought
engrave
through,
or
though.
not.
But on the same columbarium, so you would have a mixture on
Yeah.
the columbarium.
And you're still looking at your own personal one. I mean, if you go look at the other one, it's all engraved, there's very few of the engravings are alike. I mean, they're all over the map. They're all very personalized, whereas this, there's no personalization to it at all.
Yeah, I
Right,
mean, it can
but I
be
think
done,
that
for sure.
if we're gonna do that, I think you should have the one columbarium that's got, if you choose to do the brass door, that's your columbarium. If you wanna be more personal and get engraved, that'll be a separate
But there may not be
columbarium.
another one.
There may not be.
There's no guarantee there's gonna be another one, Craig.
Well, I think
But this one, well,
from
true,
my
that's true,
understanding
but
of the conversations that they're fairly committed to purchasing the additional columbarium. But if that's a concern for council, then we could get that commitment prior to passing the bylaw.
Could we send it back and get a commitment? That's up to you guys, I'm just one
No.
voice.
Yeah, I think that's best. That's fair. Give somebody the choice.
Yeah, I'm a little more raw on it because they've just, in the last year, done this, so. So what's the feeling? You know, is somebody gonna make a motion, or are we just gonna,
Well, I don't know.
I make a motion that we include engraving on this columbarium as an option.
So we'll need to amend the bylaw. Direction to administration to include engraving in the bylaw. And
Or
then
we-
we'll amend the bylaw and
or
bring
we
it back.
postpone it one session and see if there's gonna be an actual one coming?
That would be my
I
vote,
would,
Yeah.
to
that's
wait,
where my mind would be.
Would that be
to
it?
just hold off admin having to do anything until we.
What do you think, Brad?
Sure.
Are
If
you
Willow
withdrawing
Creek
your, are you
commits.
The
withdrawing your
motion
motion?
is to, then are you amending your motion?
Yes.
You're
To get a
withdrawing,
commitment on the purchase of the additional columbarium?
That makes more sense, less, more efficient.
Yeah, because if there's actually one coming, then great.
Yeah, no problem.
People have
Choice.
the option.
Choice.
I think the engraving on it was, just the engraving was about $580.
Constructing a columbarium.
What's
Must be playing a game.
That was the octopus one.
Well, you got him.
Oops, that was dragging.
There's the last.
5.
Oh,
Okay, he's
there's
coming back
two.
in. You,
Don't two-step in front of the door.
that video you sent me of the elephants, the octopus, you got me thinking that.
Okay.
Question?
Moved by Councillor Schlossberger to get a commitment from Willow Creek Funeral Services to purchase and install an additional columbarium at the cemetery for engraving.
All in favor of that? Opposed? Carried. And we'll bring the bylaw back after that. Okay, bylaw 1688, the dog bylaw amendment, first reading. Marion.
Okay, so again, in September at a council meeting, administration was given direction by council to investigate the limitation of dogs within our bylaw. The current bylaw does not have a limit of the number of dogs that can be in one residence. And so that was in response to a letter that was received from a resident with concerns. So we did some investigation, Ryan did some investigation. It's quite common for municipalities to have limitations. 3 is about the standard, is what we found. Anything over 3 would require what's called a fancier license. And so how the bylaw has been drafted for your consideration is that there would be a limit of 3 dogs per household, and would allow for an additional 2, but they would be required then to purchase a fancier's permit. The bylaw also draws attention to the fact that if a resident is breeding dogs, that they would need to acquire a business license, because that is a business. We also made a change. The previous bylaw had that the fees could be changed by resolution of council, but Municipal Affairs suggests that any fees that would be charged should be set by way of bylaw, because that's how you can enforce those fee structures. And so we've now included the fees in the bylaw as well. So administration has put this forward tonight for your discussion, and would recommend, if you do want to do the limitation on dogs, that the bylaw receive first reading.
The fancier permit, dog fancier permit for the additional 2 dogs. Would this be advertised to the neighbors? Whose discretion is that at?
Yeah, so there is some wording in there that it would be, there would be some notification given to neighbors. So if there was a concern that was brought forward, a legitimate concern that was brought forward by a neighbor, that would have to be taken into consideration prior to issuing those licenses.
Submit an application on that.
So the fancier permit is for
Extra.
2 extra dogs?
So you have 5 on one.
So if you had
Maximum
one,
5.
maximum 5.
Maximum 5.
Where does it stay in there that it would be advertising to the neighbors? I can't find that.
Well, it requires an application process, and then the criteria would be based on, the size of the residence, the size of the dogs, whether the dogs are inside or outside, those kind of things, and if approved, they must purchase that license. I can find the specific wording in the bylaw here for you. Give me a minute.
Yeah, I can't find it in this, but, like, if there was gonna be whoever the person is that lives next door to this,
Okay, it's under Schedule B. It says, I understand that before this application can be approved, the animal control officer must first inspect the proposed location to ensure the site and conditions are suitable. I further understand the animal control officer will circulate adjacent property owners and advise them of the application, allowing for a period of response. The
okay,
animal control officer shall not issue a dog fancier's permit if the site or conditions are not suitable.
that's what I was looking for, I missed that when I read it. What's the feeling on this? Nobody got any opinion?
The first proposed resolution includes to adjust the dog fancier permit to what?
Well, it's just saying if you don't agree with what we've proposed in the bylaw, we would require a motion to amend that prior to first reading. But if you agree with the fees and the way the bylaw is crafted, then you can just go to first reading.
I thought it was all pretty straightforward. Seems to be where we're gonna go, so. I'll make a motion to give bylaw 1688 its first reading.
Okay. Question?
Moved by Councillor Zimmer to give bylaw number 1688, a dog bylaw amendment, first reading.
All in favor? Carried. Was there an opposition? One opposed? You were hidden behind Mike, you were sitting back so far, sorry.
That's good.
Carried then. One thing on this, and it was brought to my attention just the other day by one of the people who work over at CARES, is their lack of requirement if the dog is turned into them when the owner comes to pick it up. There's no requirement for them to have a dog license on it. I was just wondering if that shouldn't be.
It says in here
Yes,
now.
there is in the bylaw.
Yeah, there is.
Oh, I know, but if it shouldn't be reiterated to the department. CARES made a point of telling me that right now, there's no, they just turn the dogs over.
Well, they're not supposed to be, and that's in the agreement. That there's a very,
Well, apparently the
well laid out agreement.
the
with
bylaw
how those
enforcer
dogs
isn't
are to be dealt with.
enforcing that part, that's what they're saying that he's not enforcing that part, so maybe if we could look into that.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, onward to number 3, correspondence, Town of Fort McLeod, invitation for the Santa Claus Parade. Now, the way I read this, they're gonna have a ride for you. Are this on our schedule for the float?
Yes, we do have our float going there.
So if somebody did wanna go, we could ride in our own float
Well,
in the truck.
yeah, if you wanna pull the float, but this is an invitation to.
To ride with them.
To ride with
them
them.
in their carriage.
Yeah.
As a dignitary in the parade.
I can't go.
You're going?
I can't go.
I can't go.
I'll go.
There you go.
Cool. Are you gonna
Work at
ride in the
3, but-
carriage?
Yes, I'll
That
just
boy.
ride in the carriage this
Do
time.
it, man. Do it.
Cautious.
You could ride in the horse.
Oh,
That'd be
no.
interesting.
Okay, we just
Stick to the
send them
carriage.
notification.
Stick to the carriage.
Are you
job,
gonna bring your
Councilor Moore.
guitar
I'll do it.
inside the carriage?
Just ride in the carriage.
Number 4, correspondent, the bridges of Claresholm Golf Club, the bridge between holes 6 and 7. I guess that's me, I gotta tell you about this, I'm on that committee. The town expanded for a few years back, expanded the drainage that runs behind the houses along number 7.
Mm-hmm.
And then they put a bridge over it. Well, the bridge is rotting out, so the golf course was wondering if the town was willing to come in and maintain the bridge.
It's just a small,
It's just a
short,
small
flat.
plank bridge.
Yeah.
Not
No
treated lumber
structure.
then, or
And it's
what?
plugging up, it's plugged up underneath it also, so it needs to be removed and cleared out.
The bridge needs to be removed?
To clean it underneath, yeah, cause, 2 of the homeowners along that street have asked me if we would look at lifting the bridge and cleaning it because the water's backing up when it's thawing. So,
It's about that long.
it's not very long.
Yeah. It's not a big
It's
deal.
probably at most 9 feet long.
But there's 2 of them?
Can I make a suggestion then? Perhaps we should have Mike meet with the golf course superintendent and determine what the cost of that repair would be. And if he can fit it in this year's budget, maintenance budget, that's, otherwise it would need to go to budget discussions.
Yeah, I don't think it'd be, I did go wander over there and I don't think it'd be very much money, but. Okay, we don't need a motion for that, do we? To refer it to administration? Okay. Number 5, correspondence. Carl,
Hoff is the P.
Hoff? the P is silent? Okay. Correspondence. Carl Hoff, resignation from Claresholm District Museum Board. Marion?
Yes, so just for council's information, so we will be advertising for interested candidates for that position on that board.
Yeah, 5 members.
It would be nice if we just sent a thank you to Carl for his service on the board as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's do that then. We'll direct administration to send him a thank you from council. Number 6, correspondence from Alberta Southwest for a letter of support for a CARES grant
No,
application.
I think it's Shinnekarch.
Oh, in this.
He's right.
The amended,
The addition to
All
this.
right.
the amended
Oh, excuse
agenda.
me. Thank you, sorry, kid.
Marion?
So I just received this request this afternoon at about 5:30, I guess. Alberta Southwest is putting together a regional CARES grant application. There is a very short timeline on that. The deadline for applications is December 2nd. Council, I think, is aware of what the CARES grant is. We accessed it for the industrial park development ASP that we did there. And we also have an application that is on the agenda tonight for the town to apply for that for some additional work to be done. So this application, my understanding of it is that it's for a tourism investment and opportunity network. They did say that the town of Pinch Creek and the Community Futures Crow's Nest Pass will be contributing some matching dollars with Alberta Southwest as well on that. So they were looking for a letter of support for their grant application. Now, I don't know how those letters of support affect our application, but we do have some priority projects here that we would be directly competing with this application for our own. So,
I would recommend we send Alberta Southwest a letter saying that at this time, due to the fact that we are applying for our own CARES grant, that we cannot offer a letter of support at this time. Is that okay with everybody?
That's what I was gonna say.
Do we need a motion for that, or can we just instruct administration to?
just
Right.
instruct
Okay.
us to send a letter.
Okay,
Actually, anytime you direct administration to do something, I guess it should be by way of resolution. Council can't give direction without providing the motions.
okay, somebody like to make a
If you
motion?
wanna do it by way of motion.
Councilor Schlossberger. We'll let Green have a minute.
Yeah.
Just noticed we probably should have had the next two in.
Yeah. Yeah, motion to.
Oh, no, no, it's all right, yeah. It's just follow-up information. It's not in the,
She's still hammering away.
she's still hammering away.
You betcha.
Okay, so I have, would like Councillor Schlossberger to write a letter to Alberta Southwest informing them that although the town of Claresholm supports their efforts, we are unable to write a letter of support towards the GEARS grant as the town has priorities we have set forth towards this grant prior to their request.
Sound okay with everybody?
Good.
Boy, sometimes Brad's a little wordy, huh? All in favor? Carried. Number 7, a request for decision, Chinook Arch Regional Library System Representative. Marion.
So one of council's obligations is to appoint someone to the Chinook Arch Regional Library System. And in the past, that appointment has been Kathy Davies, and she has asked to be removed from that appointment. So the library board discussed, and they are requesting that council consider the appointment of Tony Hanlon, who is currently the board chair, library board chair, as the representative for the town of Claresholm, with Derry Markle to be appointed as the alternative.
Okay.
I'll make that motion.
Councillor Hoare. Any questions on it?
No.
Question?
Moved by Councillor Moore to appoint Tony Hanlon to the Chinook Arch Regional Library System Board, with Derry Markle to be noted as alternate.
All in favor? Carried. Number 8, request for decisions, CPO review and policies. Marion.
Okay, so in June, we had a review of our community peace officer program by the Solicitor General's office. And as you're aware, through that time, we've been bringing forward some items to council for approval on policies relative to that. We have just received the response from the Solgen's office regarding the results of that review. Basically, the review was to just determine compliance of our program with the Peace Officer Act regulations and the Peace Officer Program Policy and Procedures Manual. So the results of that is there is just 2 policies that are missing, or an amendment that was required. So the first policy is a known risk client policy and protocol was stated as being missed, but we had already addressed that subsequent to the review, and that policy was passed. It's policy 5.3.35, and so no further action is required there. The second was a notebook policy should be implemented. So basically, the notebook policy is just with regards to any notes that the CPO should be keeping and how those are addressed and how they're dealt with. And so there is a draft policy there for you. And then the third was the CPO complaint policy, which we already had, but we needed to do some amendments to that policy. So we amended that to include reporting on informal resolutions back to the director. And then also we removed section 5 and 6 as they were outside of our authority. So the timelines and frequency of review of the CPO files has also been addressed, and that we've completed the review of previous files, and they've set it up now to do a bi-weekly review of any new files that are created. So administration is recommending that policy 5.3.04, the CPO notebook policy, and the updated version of policy 5.3.30 CPO complaint process policy be adopted by council, and then we will be compliant with all of the CPO legislation.
So that notebook that we're talking about, is that like, if he does, whether it be a bylaw check or a traffic stop, he's got like the date, the time, what he talked about, like that, numbered pages.
Any he keeps a notebook that he documents any work that he's doing.
Okay.
Okay, motion by Councillor Schultz. Question?
Moved by Councillor Schultz to adopt policy number 5.3.04, the CPO notebook policy, and policy 5.3.30, the CPO complaint process policy, effective November 25th, 2019.
All in favor? Carried. Number 9, request for decision, CFAP grant application for the tennis courts. Marion?
Sorry, just get to my notes.
You out of practice?
Okay, so the tennis courts, as you're aware, are adjacent to the high school, and they've been slated and budgeted in our 2020 capital budget, proposed budget, to have some upgrades and resurfacing done to those, so that we can host the 2021 Southern Alberta Summer Games. The total cost in that is $76,208, and the Willow Creek Composite High School Sports Society is asking that council support a grant application to assist in the upgrades. The facility is used by both the schools as well as the community, and also that resolution would require that council commit the matching dollars to that. So basically they're applying for the grant to assist in the upgrade of that surfacing. So we would be looking for a motion to write a letter of support for the application, and also to provide the matching funds or in-kind donation for the project in the amount of $38,104 for the total project cost of $76,208.
Okay, any questions?
So this 76,208, when they go to redo this tennis court, is it gonna be like a whole new, I've seen where the old tennis court is still underneath and they've kind of like relayed a new one on top and it chips away and falls apart after a few years. Is this gonna be like?
I believe this is a resurfacing, isn't it, on top?
Well, it's resurfacing. I can't speak to the details of the quote. I don't know whether it's removal of the old surface and
Not for that price. So
I would
it'll be
think
a-
for that price, it's
gonna be a
they'll grind it
resurface.
and put it over top.
So it'll be like, it'll be something that the new surface will be able to adhere to.
It won't just be painted.
It won't be
over.
painted on.
Like it would be resurfaced, yes.
It'll be, and it would be thick enough where it'll stand up.
Okay. No, I just
What
because
you're
I've been on
talking-
other towns where it looks like they just poured like leveling cement out there. And then
Yeah,
after a
and I've
couple years
seen
it
that
chips and
myself.
that's
And
not-
I do not believe this is leveling cement.
Okay.
Because it doesn't stand up, you're right.
And we have this budget in our 2020.
I believe it's in our 2020 budget.
Right.
We'll be discussing it tomorrow night. It's not, that
It's
isn't
not set.
confirmed, it
Right.
isn't set yet, not confirmed, but it is proposed.
If they don't get the CFAP grant, then will we be paying?
Well, it's part of our, it's part of our
budget.
It is.
budget to upgrade it anyways. This is just a help to pay for half of it.
Yeah.
Because if we're gonna host the Alberta Summer Games, we need to upgrade our facilities.
Right.
Good opportunity.
I'll make that motion.
Councillor Cutler? Question?
Moved by Councillor Cutler to write a letter of support for the WCCHS Sports Society's application to the Community Facility Enhancement Program for the purpose of upgrading and resurfacing the tennis courts and provide the matching funds / in-kind donation for the project in the amount of $38,104.
All in favor? Carried. Number 10, request for decision, CARES grant application for the land study. Marion?
Okay, so the staff has been preparing a grant application for the CARES program, as I discussed earlier. And basically the purpose of that is to complete an infrastructure master plan and water study, which is critical for us for future growth of the community. They've called it Framework for Growth, which would be the next step from the Planning for Growth project that we did. With the area structure plan and the additional studies that have been completed for the annexed area, it's come up time and time again, like how do we, what's the impact of this on our existing infrastructure as we develop both in the north as well as in the southeast here. So this program is designed to provide funding for projects that diversify the local economy and drive high volume job creation. We're not sure if this is going to be a fit, but we think it's an opportunity that we need to apply for. It's not available for infrastructure projects, but it's designed for consulting and planning and feasibility initiatives. It provides 50% funding, and the deliverables that we've included in this grant application are a topographic survey of the town's infrastructure, just to confirm and update our GIS data that Old Man River has for us. Also an infrastructure assessment on the town's deep utilities, our lift stations, water treatment, wastewater treatment, roads, public space and buildings, so that we have a good clear picture of what our existing infrastructure is. To create a 10-year capital plan, and then also do a water assessment, so basically a water needs assessment and what the impact of that is. So this will provide a bit of a roadmap for administration and council as we move forward in our infrastructure planning and our growth development for the community. So the deadline again for the grant application is December 2nd, so we just require a resolution from council to support the grant application or direct administration to submit the grant application on behalf of the town. It is a highly competitive grant, and we were lucky to receive what we did last time, and we're hoping that we can be successful again. Again, this is included, this infrastructure master plan is included in our proposed capital budget for the upcoming year, because it is a critical next step in what we do to develop our communities.
Sure. Councillor Washburn, any questions?
No, I agree with it 110%.
Question, please.
Moved by Councillor Schlossberger to apply to the CARES program in the amount of $63,631.50 for the Framework for Growth project, and then refer the matching portion of the grant program to the 2020 budget discussions.
All in favor? Carried. Number 11, a request for direction, the 2020 council open house meetings. They're laid out in front of us.
Those are the
Those
old,
are
the
last
ones we've done.
Yeah, but this is
But we could do
the examples. We want input.
Number one should beat the budget, right? First, open house.
Well, that's, yeah.
We
Each year,
talked
that's a
about that,
given.
Yeah. Number two, the update on the multi-use building, because when is that? When
The
would this?
tender closes December 17th, I believe, is the date.
When's the
Tentative
second?
start when the
When's
frost
the
comes out.
second open house? What month?
The last time was in June. So by then, we should have the building
We should-
tendered, put out and accepted and started. 'Cause I would think if, depending on how long the design takes after we go through the tenders, we'd probably have a spring start, so we should have something in the ground by then. So you,
Do an update, open house.
okay,
So you're thinking that one
One of
first,
the other
second?
suggestions that we had, if you recall, when we were in the presentation on the emergency contact program that we were talking about, that software program where we're able to give notification out to the community on certain things, including emergencies. So one of the suggestions we've had from that is that perhaps we do that as part of an open house. Because if we get that software, that's a good opportunity for people to learn about it, to sign up for it. May is emergency preparedness. I believe it's the second or third week in May is emergency preparedness week, so that would be a good time to do that as well. Maybe do a presentation on 72-hour kits and those kind of things, right?
So we could do it on both.
well, we could do it on both, but we could do it, like for the open house in February, with the budget is definitely one of the items. We could do an update on the multi-use building then. Because it'll be,
That could be combined in February. Yeah.
Makes sense.
because the tender will
Yeah.
be approved.
Yeah.
Hopefully the designs will be forward by then. So we may have some preliminary designs we can put out. And
Yep.
then in June we move, or we could have it
Emergency.
end of May and then move that.
Yeah, I think if we go in May for emergency preparedness, that'd be a good one, and then we can look at what we do in the fall, I guess, as things roll out.
And then I was wondering also in that, just present an overview of the new regional fire agreement that we should have in place by then, will we not?
Yeah, we have to have all of that in place by the end of March, by
So-
April 1st.
So it'd be
The
good time to
ICF and
roll it
the,
out.
ICF and the fire services, it's all part of that ICF process.
So what would you
So it
think
could all
of,
be rolled out in May? For that
So
open
that all
house?
could be done in the May meeting then.
because it would tie
It's all
in
about
with
safety.
Fire
Yeah.
Prevention Week and, okay?
That's not fire prevention week, that's emergency preparedness.
Sorry,
Yeah.
emergency
They're
preparedness.
Yeah, they're different.
And that would tie in because it's our new regional agreement
Right.
that we're working on now.
Nailed it.
Okay, the third one.
I think we can talk about it later in
Later.
the year. I don't think we need to
Yeah.
plan for fall quite yet. Because there will be some things that come up that will be important to.
So basically, we
discuss
just need
with
to
the
agree that we're
community.
gonna have 4 open houses next year. Leave it
Yes,
at
I
that.
think we should do
We'll
4
still
again.
plan for the.
Well, I'd like to keep doing 4. It
I
keeps the
so.
people more informed what's going on, and so there's no
That's a good
secrets
idea.
then.
I haven't had anybody ask me for more, so I think 4 is good.
4 is 4
No,
more.
they've been clamoring at your door saying, come on, give us another open
Well,
house.
Craig, that's 4 more than they had 3 years ago, because there used to be none, so.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm fine with 4 quarterly.
Yeah, because if you get them too repetitious, people won't come at all.
No, need to be relevant.
Yeah. Okay, so we move on.
So do we need a,
Don't need a resolution.
don't need a
for that.
motion or nothing for any of that? We're good?
Number 12, information brief, Kinsman CFAP grant applications. Well, that's kind of self-explanatory.
Yeah, I just wanted to report that 8th Street project, in the information brief, it says that it came in well under budget, but we actually were about $83,000 under budget. We had $150,000 budgeted, and we spent just about $67,000. So that's all able to come out of our federal gas taxes, so it's what we had planned, less than what we had actually planned to spend out of the budget, so
Yeah.
we're still good there. And the new application will go back in for the January intake. So,
Okay, we'll take that for information. 13, information brief council resolutions. Any questions on that? Thank you for information. And adoption of information items. If we can get a motion for that.
I'll make that motion.
Councilor Schultz. Any questions on it before we vote? Everything looks pretty clear?
Yep.
Question?
Moved by Councillor Schultz to adopt the information items as presented.
All in favor? Carried. A motion to go in camera, please.
I'll make that motion
Councilor Zimmer.
to go in camera.
All those who agree? Carried. Can we turn the camera off, please? Give us a thumbs up.
Oh,
Okay.
wait a minute. What is- Hang on.
Okay, everybody freeze. Ready to start again.
It's porn.
Is that bold? Okay, unfreeze. A motion to come out of in camera, please.
I'll make a motion to come out of in camera.
All in favor? Carried. Motion to adjourn, Councillor Carlson. All in favor, agreed. Okay, we are adjourned. Camera off, please.